Hey, welcome to the Grit Podcast, episode number 7, Employment and Other Stuff. I'm joined today by Crippled Jeff and Tom Persons. This is going to be interesting. Okay, let's do this. Welcome to the Grit Podcast.
Welcome to the Grit Podcast, the podcast that motivates and encourages you to become the real man you're destined to be. Forecasting live in the rugged Northwest, just east of the trailblazing city of Portland. So let's get locked and loaded, because it's time to get gritty with it. Here's your host and lead grit man, Jamie Worley.
Oh my gosh, I don't know how else to kick off this episode. We're going to be talking about employment, some of which I think these guys know a little bit about, but we're going to find out. We're going to be talking about employment today, and so I want to start off introducing you guys to a couple of friends of mine. I want to introduce you to Jeff Grandi. He's also Crippled Jeff, is what we call him.
Yep.
Why do we call you Crippled Jeff? Why do you like that? Are you offended by that?
No, I'm not. I like to kind of nip the whole I limped a little bit. I'm getting a lot better, but I had a massive stroke. 2 massive strokes 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And it left me paralyzed on the left side. And I've been slowly but surely regaining my once glory. So they call me Crippled Jeff just to kind of get it out of the way. That's it.
Is that something that you came up with, or who first started calling you Crippled Jeff?
It was Todd Hoffman, which he said he hated that. I'm not going to say who.
You can tell us who started that.
Todd did.
Todd Hoffman from Gold Rush?
Yeah. Crippled Jeff. He saw me.
How? I don't understand, because Todd is so politically correct.
I think they grew up together. Didn't you?
We grew up together. Yeah, we grew up together. Yeah, and he saw me struggling one day, and I was in tears, and he had to make himself feel better about himself by his own, the weight of his own problems. That's politically correct, and he had to put someone down. But I just kind of went with it, and it shocked him, and it stuck. So I'm Crippled Jeff. It's funny to me.
I'm not so sure how much of anything Crippled Jeff says, by the way, is true. But for the purposes of this show, we're going to call Jeff Crippled Jeff, because that's what he's comfortable with, and that's how he identifies. So we got Crippled Jeff here, and we also have Tom Persons. What's up, Tom?
Not much.
How did you end up on this show?
I was asked to be on this show.
By who?
I was going to.
He just walked. He literally just walked in. I've never seen this guy before in my life.
By Crippled Jeff.
Oh,
he brings out the best of me. Look, what I've been through in the last few years and how low on the totem pole I am, you got to bring someone that makes you look good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Tom's the first person I thought of.
Okay. Well, Tom is a pretty cool cat.
Tom's lovely.
Tom is good. Yeah.
No, me and Tom, we have coffee together, and we go to Chinese Happy Day and
Chinese Happy Day.
Where's
Chinese Happy Day?
Jeff has this fixation with Asians.
I do not.
Whatever.
You married. You're the one that married a Filipino. I married a Norwegian.
I was talking about you.
Oh yeah, go ahead. I like it.
Yeah,
well, and Filipino's not Asian, Jeff.
No, it's actually Pacific Islander. But they call them Asians.
You're a racist.
Thank you.
Jeff's a racist.
Oh yeah, big time.
No, Jeff likes the culture.
I do. Yeah. I really do.
What was that one restaurant?
I don't know if I can say
Tom
that.
and I are sitting in Starbucks.
I don't know if I can even say it.
I don't even know.
I wanted it to be.
Look, it's called Pho Kim. Okay.
What's that?
Pho Kim.
Except it's not pronounced pho.
It's pho.
It's pronounced pho.
Fuck him.
There you go. And it was King. All right? It was King. And so it was the lady.
They spell it Kim.
No, I know. There's Kim and King. There's 2 different places.
Oh.
And the lady, she's Filipino, and she's Vietnamese. and she said the proper pronunciation is pho.
She said the pornography. Is that what you were going to say?
The proper pronunciation of pho is actually pho. And what I said I said back in the day when, mostly Americans, we know like Chinese restaurants. There wasn't, or Japanese, the big sushi thing came in, but there wasn't a whole lot. Thai became kind of new or whatever. But they would use very generic names, and maybe that's the way it is over there. I don't know. But the Vietnamese came over with their pho. It was like some, and they got clever with wordplay.
Well, it's not only the Vietnamese.
Well, I'm just saying, not now. But here's the thing. You talk about hung far low. Yeah. I don't know if they intended it to be that way. You know what I mean? I wonder if it was just kind of an afterthought. But don't tell me that, fuck him was just because Kim is Korean. It's not Vietnamese. You know what I mean? Or faux king. You know what I mean? I could say mofos. That's pretty funny, but there is no mofo. It's fucking and fuck him. That's what it is. That's how it's pronounced. All right? Now in America, that's pretty dodgy. And they got smart.
You think this is a conspiracy? Then.
It's not a conspiracy. It's clever. That's what I'm saying. It's clever. It's clever. You know what I mean? It's like when my brother was living in Italy, he got an STD. It's funny because I always say this. He met a girl named Chlamydia. You know what I mean? It sounds Latin. It's funny. It's clever. It's a play with words. That's all I was saying. But the Asian cultures, yes.
Whoa. What? I think that you're probably putting way too much on the culture. It might be just a couple of restaurants.
No, it is. Just there is a restaurant somewhere in Northern California, and I can't remember.
No, you see, so we're talking like 3 or 4 restaurants that have a weird name that sounds something different in an American language, and you're judging.
I'm not judging anyone.
You're saying that the whole Vietnamese community has decided to come up with these.
Okay, there's a Chinese restaurant spelled PHATFUK. Fat fuck, all you can eat buffet. It's somewhere in California, and I'm just saying, don't tell me they don't know what that means. They know exactly what that means. And so, if you can go online and look up funnynames.com or restaurants or businesses or whatever, look, they just got clever with the names. And that's all it is. I used to go to my favorite buffet when I was a kid growing up. It was a Chinese buffet, and it was called Plenty Buffet. All right?
So do you think this is a conspiracy marketing sales strategy to come up with these, I guess, sexual names so that people, can say that they liked going there because it's kind of a play on words and
100%.
It's marketing.
Here's the thing, 100%, because you're not going to forget it. You're not going to forget the name. Who's going to forget that? I named my shop, my business, the Mob Shop. I didn't mean to give a spot or whatever, but I named my shop the Mob Shop, because no one's going to forget that name. Yeah. No one will forget it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You could go to an Italian restaurant. Okay, like here, someday I'm going to open up a little pizzeria. That was my other thing I want to do, and I'm going to do it. All right? If you want to know the mafia in America was once called La Cosa Nostra. That's what it was called back in Sicily. La Cosa Nostra. It means our thing. My pizzeria is going to be called La Casa Nostra. All right? Our house. It's just a play on words. It's just funny, and people may... I even thought about coming up... When I was going to create my own mob products for men's hair, and I was going to call, like... gel gabagoo, you know what I mean? My matte shine bada bing. The other one was gonna be bada boom. You know what I mean? Because it's funny. That's it. That's all it is.
Tom's not laughing.
Huh?
Look at Tom's face.
He's smiling. He's blushing. He knows how clever that is. That's why he associates with me. He knows how clever I am when it comes to this kind of stuff. Hey, he may say whatever he wants to say, but he knows that I am top 1%. And that's why we have to stick together. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I guess that's a decent introduction segue to employment. Number one, I'd like to know, how did you get that job and who in the world decided to give it to you? Like, what led you to become a hairstylist?
Well, I went through a
Are
divorce.
you-
I went through a divorce, and back in 2000 or late 99 to early 2000, and I told my ex-wife that I always wanted. I like talking to people, all right, and I think rationally. Is it going to be more cost? Can I afford to open up a little barber shop? Or one of my other things was actually I went to school. If you really went to school, I went to school to become a manager of a restaurant. I went to school for hospitality business management. I always wanted to be a manager of a restaurant in a hotel, and I'll tell you how is because I met a man. He was speaking about wines, about bringing wines into this. It was actually the what was it called? It's not the same name now, but it's in downtown Portland on Broadway. And I ended up talking to him, and he lived inside the Governor Hotel. He lived inside the Governor Hotel, and he was the manager of the restaurant. And he got a car, he got a cell phone, he got his own room. You know what I mean? That it just sounded cool. We were young. I was young. It sounded cool, so I went to school for that. But I knew I didn't really want to work for anybody. So when I got done with school, and I told my ex-wife that I'm thinking about I want to be like a barber and open up a barber shop because I enjoyed cutting hair or whatever. And her family was kind of against it or said no or whatever.
I think camaraderie.
I think camaraderie.
Is
I enjoyed
probably a big issue in any job.
100%.
If you don't have some sort of bonding
Sure.
with your job, it's just not going to work.
It was. You're 100%. It's to me. I always put my life in like kind of an image, not in an image thing, but it's almost like in a nostalgic image. I wanted to be like this guy that was very known hairstylist or whatever, and that kind of depleted. I didn't want to do women's hair anymore and stuff like that. It got to be too much. And I can't even remember what show it was, and it was this guy. He was a barber, and he was talking to this little boy, and he was explaining what his grandfather was like when he was cutting his hair at this kid's age. And I loved that image. That's what I wanted.
Yeah.
To someday, this kid, I cut this guy's hair yesterday, and he's coming and he's moving to Arizona. I haven't seen him forever since
That's today.
It was yesterday, actually. And I haven't seen him forever. And he's getting a job in Arizona. He's moving somewhere in Arizona. And he wanted to come see me before he left. He hadn't seen me since the pandemic. And here's this guy. He's in a beard. I shave him. I cut his hair. He's in a beard. And I've been cutting his hair since he was 7, 8 years old. Since his dad was bringing him in. Yeah. How cool is that? You know what I mean? He was a kid.
I can relate to that.
And I love that. That's the thing that I love cutting hair. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy it. I'm left-handed. That's my artistic outlet or whatever. But really, honestly, it's that kind of stuff that really gets me going. And that was something. You have to know your limits in life. I know what I'm good at. I know what I'm not good at. I sold half of my business about 10 years ago to a lady because I am terrible at administration work. I hate it. I hate it. That's what she's good at. She's fantastic.
Well, she's a good cutter too.
She's a great cutter.
Oh, yeah.
But that's her thing that she likes is that department. You know what I mean? So I know what I'm good at. I know what I'm not good at. And
how hard is that though because I kind of have the attitude I can do anything. And the older I get, but the older I get, right, I learn that I have limitations.
100%.
Now you can accept those limitations or you don't. What would you think would happen if you had limitations, but you paid them no mind? You didn't work that way. You didn't recognize your limitations.
You'd fail. And that's coming from just me. Here's the thing. I understand my limitations and I accept my limitations because I don't have time for that as I get older. I have to know what I'm good at doing. And that's just for me. That's for me. Anyone can reach whatever they want to good. I've just accepted what I'm good at and what I'm not.
Basically, what you like and what you don't
100%.
like. It's not a matter of not being able to do it.
Sure. If I was forced to, yeah.
They have programs. They have business programs, computer programs. You could have done that.
Sure. I'm good in I am good. I'm good in front of people. I like from all walk backgrounds. This whole crap that's going on about, left wing, right wing politics, that and this, blah, blah, blah. I hate that. I like just talking to people, and that's it. You know what I mean? I have my own personal views, but that doesn't stop me from enjoying someone else's company if someone has a completely different view than I do. I prefer to sit and talk about it and then have a cup of coffee about it. You know what I mean? And, that's it. I understand your point of view. Yeah. But this whole divisiveness is ridiculous to me.
So we found out how you got into the barber business.
Yes. That's how I got in. It was something I just wanted to do. I went to school, cranked it out, and I worked. I actually had an internship with one of the best hairstylists in the country. I got very lucky. And I worked a little bit downtown, and then I decided, I actually came out to Gresham to look for a job because I didn't want to raise my son in downtown Portland. And anyways, I looked at this spot, and I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to do it myself, and that was it. I was eventually going to do it. Yeah. And man, did it blow up. It was because of my idea. I had your own personal TV, cigars, and beer in 2004 in Gresham. That's before anybody did that. I'm just saying that.
There was a few that did.
Yeah, well, your place, I'm not going to, you can tell that story.
It doesn't need to be told.
No, I know.
There were other shops that were even back into the 60s that you could show up and the haircut was not your goal.
Sure.
Uh-oh.
I mean, your goal was camaraderie.
But Tom, enlighten us. What kind of camaraderie?
I can think of a couple shops. One of them was really into like black lights. Really a
translation.
That was
mushrooms.
Whatever. I mean, whatever. And that was downtown, and that was kind of fun now and then to stop by.
100%.
And then there was another one. There was one in Gresham, actually. Mr. Ed's for Heads.
Yeah.
That was nice.
I am afraid to ask.
Yeah, well, you can imagine.
No, I better not.
I think he had a record.
It came out wrong.
He had a record, too. That guy had I think he had an extensive prison record, but he was a real mob shop. I mean, this guy had a
well, this guy that I knew, that he passed away, so I'm not going to name his name. And, oh my gosh, every time that I go in and chit-chat with him or whatever, it was like a mushroom cloud of herb. Holy mackerel.
I couldn't go. I only went there once or twice because I couldn't take it. It was just too heavy.
I know, it's incredible, though, because you'd think that how many barbers there are, and does the police know not to go there? You know what I mean? I mean, how in the world did he not get busted?
Exactly.
Because it was incredible. You know what I mean?
Well, I want to know how
the police are going.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, I don't. Maybe that's.
How can you get by with serving alcohol in a barber shop?
Because I gave it away.
Oh.
I gave it. It was never for sale.
Just put it on the price of the haircut.
Well,
is that the rule? Is that the rule? Like you can't sell it, but you can give it away.
Give it away. It's like women going and getting a glass of wine.
Or donate. You can donate too.
Oh.
You can have a little jar that says donate.
Yeah, I had cigars. I had mouth shop cigars, and that turned out to be a whole.
I used to throw these
deal.
great big parties.
Yeah,
and I learned all the tricks. You can have them donation. Everybody you meet, this is a donation of $5.
Well, the one thing that we did that we had to do was on Monday nights I used to do football. I only did it for 1 year because I didn't want to be working when I was Monday Night Football. But these guys, some of my clients would show up to watch, and I'd have beer out and whatever, and they'd buy cigars from me. And they would smoke cigars inside my mom shop on a Monday night, but they had to buy a $1 one-day membership fee to do it, and that's what makes it legal.
Well, I'm feeling a little bit rejected over here, Jeff. So far, this has been the Jeff show.
Oh,
it has.
Sorry. Yeah.
It has. Matter of fact, I think the name is the Grit Podcast.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And,
but that's really interesting.
Mm. Yeah. It just seemed fun, common sense, fun.
Okay, let me tell you what I did. Mm-hmm. Okay, I started I think I've worked for 44 years. And I've never unemployment, never. I did have unemployment for 2 weeks in there. I shouldn't say never unemployment. I was always fully employed, but I got laid off probably a month or two every year for 7 years. Wow. But I started, and I was young, and they would pretty much browbeat you. If you wanted a good union job, the other employees trained you, and they trained you right. In other words, you did things right. You did whatever they asked you to do, and you didn't ask questions. And totally union, and they've even named halls after the union members that used to be they're you want to talk about mob. I don't know that they were mob, but I'm just saying.
Isn't all unions mafia?
Well, let's put it this way. They were pretty high. I mean, when they came to check on our work, they always showed up in these big black cars.
Yeah.
Wow. Big black Cadillacs, So impressive people. And they were also, they had your best interest at heart. Yeah. So that was intriguing. But after 3 years of that, I wasn't quite 21 yet, and they needed a driver. They got bought out, and they couldn't hire me because I was under 21, and their insurance wouldn't accept it. So I went to be a surgical technician.
Yeah. What is that? I mean, what did you do as a...
Basically, you go to school forever, and you do everything you can imagine as far as surgery, except for brain surgery.
But were you the guy that passed like the utensils over?
You're right. You're the doctor's right-hand man.
Right.
There's absolutely nothing in an operating room that I don't know about. Or you're also in charge of like sterile technique.
Didn't you say your favorite was proctology?
I never said that. Oh. I don't remember.
Someone said that to me. I can't remember who said it.
I think I heard that as well.
Could be. You guys could have heard some rumors. So anyhow, that was fascinating, but it also, I think I wanted to see if I could do it. I mean, I set a goal and achieved it. I passed my state boards
on the first time.
Yeah, passed my state boards and worked in I worked in just about every hospital in Portland and Vancouver.
Tom, have you ever been unemployed?
Never.
Why are so many people unemployed right now? You got a theory on that?
I do.
It used to be that we grew up with fathers, and our fathers were working class heroes. Mm-hmm. They worked all the time, and they brought home the bacon, and they were the mentor. And I always felt that success was to work as hard as you can for as long as you can. And therefore you'd be successful. And I'm not sure that that the family unit is together like that anymore. I can tell you family unit has a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
But,
because especially the men in the home, and that's not discounting anything that women do. I don't know how single moms do what they do. But I know that the men in the home, when you take that out, this is where you have things like the highest murder rate in America being Chicago and Detroit and those types of things. And it's not just the black community, it's the white community as well. When you take the man out of the home, it can destroy everything. And so it's not that if you take the woman out of the home, the same wouldn't happen, but there are far more single moms raising kids than there are. How many single dads raising kids do you know? I just don't. I might know two, maybe.
Maybe.
But how many single moms do you know? When you take a dad out of the home, where is the mom, the woman can create a culture of hard work where she's working 2 jobs just to take care of the kids. That is commendable. That is very commendable.
But then who's watching the kids?
Right.
You're given the child total freedom, and that doesn't that doesn't work out well.
No, it
Total
doesn't.
freedom. However, I think I had way too much as a child. I had way too much total freedom. My dad worked all the time.
Yeah.
And my mom, I mean, I think I was the fourth child. By the time they got to the fourth child, they pretty much had given up on, I mean, it's just.
Yeah. Like you're on your own.
Yeah, there you go.
You're on your own.
But
Yeah.
I can tell you that it taught me a lesson, the surgical part. You can overdo something. That was no way to live. You're on call all the time, tremendous responsibility. You go to work when it was dark, you'd come home when it was dark. And I could kind of see the writing on the wall too, because I was a male, they were going to put me into probably male genitalia because men feel more comfortable with men. And I had even though I was really good in vascular surgery, I got my offers after school were to have my own cysto room, which is like male genitalia.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to do that. It's just like, that is not why I studied for 3 years. That's not what I want to do. But
I knew a guy in college. He wanted to be an OBGYN for all the wrong reasons.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, all the wrong reasons.
I
And
always
then,
were.
and then he got about halfway through the schooling and was doing the practicum. And the clientele wasn't exactly what he thought it would be. And so I can imagine you not wanting to sit around looking at men's genitalia all day.
Look,
Was that the
You
thing,
are-
or do you just...
you are so, I can think back of all the naked bodies I've seen. None of that made an impression. There's no, you get so sick and tired of seeing naked bodies and genitalia or what, I mean, there's just, in a way it's kind of harmful because naked women don't turn you on anymore. There's no,
Yeah.
that's gone. I mean, you look at it as a procedure, not a.
Yeah.
Rarely do I ever even see their face.
But how do you...
That doesn't sound good. Does it?
Because that's one of the problems of porn, isn't it? When guys especially are watching porn, they're watching all these top 10 models, right? Out of who knows where, doing who knows what. And then when they go home to their wife, all of a sudden it's like you like that's going to be a problem because you're stimulated.
Let's put it this way:
by-
number one wife didn't last long. Okay, number one wife, beautiful woman, wonderful mother.
Yeah.
I got nothing bad to say about her.
Yeah.
But really, with the stress of college and what I was going through, I don't think she understood. I was still pretty young, so was she. But tremendous amount of stress.
I wasn't talking about. I was talking about just in general.
Well, that is kind of in general. It did affect.
okay.
It did affect my home life like that. It
Gotcha.
doesn't. You don't. It does do that to you.
You can't.
I don't see how doctors actually have any lust for any woman. I don't see how they can do that when they go in and they rip them apart and put them back together and then go home and sleep with a woman. To me, that it just, the two don't go together in my eyes.
Isn't it like you almost see too much? You almost know too much. Do you know what I mean? You're seeing things.
I know exactly. You said it.
Of course, it's like you watch. It's like porn dumbs your creativity down. You would prefer to watch a movie and a naked woman in a movie. Wait for that longer, for that moment,
Yeah.
than you would because porn is just readily. It's right there, because you foresee. And I don't know how I even know that. That's a good Lord. But
those are good analogies.
But what I'm saying
Those
is that
are
it's,
good
it's
analogies.
probably
Well,
because I actually think of women as something as beautiful. You know what I
Well,
mean?
yeah.
And not something to just
I can tell you that
trash on. You know what I mean? Like what they do to themselves is, what do their fathers do to them? I mean, good gracious. But
after 3 years, I had to work my way through college, and I got a part-time job at a company that was the competitor to the company that bought out the company that I worked for. And they said, "Hey, you've got experience in this. How would you like to come and work for us? Just part-time, work your way through school." And excellent opportunity because I needed the money, and I could work whatever hours I wanted. And they from day one, this place treated me like I was something, and I actually quit and went to work for them, and got the camaraderie back, the male, working with males again, working with my type of people.
Sure.
You know, like you're saying, I know people in this business for 44 years. I was in Italy once and ran into a mason that I delivered to for 30 years. I mean, I know what you're saying about what goes around, and and I know their kids and their kids' kids.
Yeah. It's a great feeling.
It really is.
It's a feeling of service, and I think that's what I was trying to
Yeah,
say.
exactly. And
I feel like
serviced
I'm
all
giving a
these people.
service.
So I think we've hit on something here, because by giving service and giving 100%, the rewards of that are tremendous.
Sure.
And you make friends that, it amazes me sometimes how you can be someplace and run into people that you have serviced, and they know you by name, they know your family, they know your mom's name. Because you've been with them for like years. It's almost like you went to school with them, like childhood friends. Yeah. But
here's a question for you, Tom. Have you ever felt like you had a job that was beneath you?
Oh yeah, I've had some, but I still made them fun.
Were they necessary? These jobs that were beneath you? Did you
No, they were fun.
involve yourself because they were necessary at the time?
I was a parking lot attendant at Timberline Lodge, and I was making $1.12 an hour, and they started at 85 cents. And I'm telling you, if that job wasn't beneath me, to get up and drive to top of Mount Hood every day, no matter what the conditions are, and stand out there in the wind and the snow and watch these skiers ski off into the parking lot and break their legs and stuff. Yeah, that job was beneath me, but I made the best out of it, and I had fun doing it.
Yeah,
I was a waiter for years, bartender, and I never felt above it, or I enjoyed it because I talked to people and I enjoyed it, and that service kind of part of my approach. I enjoyed it. But I knew at the end it was something that I just outgrew, that I knew I was meant for something probably a little bit more. And I think probably most people think that.
Well, the parking lot, they actually promoted me. And eventually I was in the snowcat shop and got to do the snowcats and work on snowcats and then take the snowcats up the mountain. So, I rapidly progressed, but there was really no future. Yeah. I don't know that I felt above the job, or that I could see that there was no future there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember I was young, and I remember my dad wanting me to sell insurance with him. He was the state manager of Oklahoma and Kansas, and I literally thought that being a successful insurance salesman was beneath me. And it was just like, looking back, and I was young and idiot.
Well, what did you
obviously.
want to do?
Yeah, so I didn't know what I wanted to do. I just knew I didn't want to do what he did. It had nothing to do with him. It had to do with, I didn't want to be a salesman, all that, those types of things. But then there were times in life where my family was in financial need, and I was forced to have jobs that I didn't like just so I could meet the need of paying the bills for wife and kids.
I tried to buck the tide. In other words,
Yeah.
my dad was a truck driver for the same company that I worked for that went out of business for another company, blah, blah, blah. So I tried to buck that. I tried to go into something different and do what I wanted to do. Yeah. But I found that the profession that my dad had chosen was highly rewarding.
Yeah.
And not in monetarily, however, it is, it wasn't bad. Yeah. But I'm just saying, I realized why my father had chosen that. Yeah. And
well, it probably fulfilled him.
Well, you're also pretty much on your own. As a truck driver and stuff, you're pretty much on your own.
Well,
You don't.
think about it.
You kind of work for yourself.
It's kind of cool that you say that, because alcoholism was so prevalent in those days. and it's reversed now to like anxiety medication and depression. I mean, think about it. The divorce rate was next to nothing back then. Men after high school went to work just because their fathers went to work, and it probably a lot of them did something they didn't want to do, and they worked 40 years of maybe not really enjoying their wife. Maybe, I'm just saying. And they probably drank themselves. I mean, that's probably one of the reasons why life expectancy has gone up throughout the years, is maybe because there is so much more, you know, we're not as, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? We have to do this because our fathers did that.
Yeah.
I mean, it happens in Europe more than, I mean, because my family, I don't have any family in America other than my immediate family. They all live in Europe. And I can promise, I can speak for England. If you were born in a very small little part shire, they call it a little community or whatever of a city, you're probably going to die there. And probably what your father did is what you're going to end up doing. And I would probably put that in maybe 75, 80%, even to this day.
I got a brother like that.
You know what I mean?
My brother's never left home. He's still at the ranch. Never left home, worked at the same place his whole life. He's still working. You know, he could have retired a few years back. He's still working.
I think that I remember I think it was the mid to late 80s, children started growing up and leaving the town and heading for the bigger cities to go explore. And now, you know, we used to have where families all grew up in the same community. Everybody knew you. I remember getting in trouble at school. My neighbors knew about it, and my parents knew about it before I even got home. Like the communities were small and tight knit. There was a level of heritage, I guess I would use that word. There was a level and a respect for heritage that my dad was a welder, I'm a welder, my grandpa was a welder.
Could be.
And then in the late 80s, it seemed like, and I'm not saying it didn't happen before then, but it seemed like people started saying, you know what, I don't want to do what grandpa and dad did. I want to do my own thing. I think maybe the 60s kind of kicked that off.
It became kind of a common trend in the movies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You notice things like that in the movies, like
I can tell you what I noticed in the
some
movies.
kind of a saga story, like I'm so sorry, Dad, but I just don't want to do it.
Yeah, they're leaving the small town to go to the big city.
What they did in the movies is horrific. They took stuff like Archie Bunker and they made the father out to be a total buffoon, sitting in a chair and belittling the wife. And no, I look at that totally different. And
well, it is different. Here's the thing.
Back in the time you're talking about, if you walked into a store, I grew up in a small town.
Yeah.
It didn't have to be my parents that disciplined me. Mm-hmm. If I did something wrong in that store, somebody say, hey, stop that. Don't do that. That's bad. It didn't have to be my folks. It could be.
Well, I went to school in England as a child. And
you respected all your elders. If they told you not to do something.
If we got the whack from our headmaster, my parents weren't, what did he do? It was like, what did you do to deserve it? It was a different era back then, you know? I mean, I've told the story before. Me and my brother, my nanny, would ask us if we could go up and get her a bottle of wine, or not wine, it was gin and cigarettes. She'd say, boys, can you go get us a bottle of gin and some fags, please? Cigarettes.
Some what?
Fags, cigarettes. That's how they say it in England. That was her common thing once a week. Right, boys, go get me a bottle of gin and a pack of fags. And me and my brother would walk up the street. We'd get her cigarettes. We'd get her the bottle of gin at 7 years old, 8 years old. And the reason why we did it is because what was left over, we could buy sweets with it. But me and my brother at that age, 7, 6, 7, 8
I used to take a note.
We'd walk down the street with a bottle of gin and cigarettes.
I used to take a note. Yeah. We'd write a note. Could you please sell my son a 6-pack of beer because he walk in and put it on, walk out.
Yeah, it's just different, you know.
Worked.
It's almost weird. If you look at the time area today, what we don't even, we are such a divided. What's the word I'm looking? What's the word? What is the norm? What is not norm? Societal, moral compass, moral standard. Back then, it was so much more looser and so much less regulated.
Yeah.
And now things are so much more regulated, less looser.
And more fierce.
And more, like nonsensical. I mean, I don't even know how to explain
I
it.
call it fear. Basically, our society has become a society that lives in fear. We live in fear of our justice system. We live in fear of a criminal activity. We live in fear of wherever you go.
Well, unfortunately,
yesterday your car got broken into. I'm just telling you, it's just
no, and the thing is, it's being somewhat
that never happened.
normalized to some degree. I mean, think about it. Here I am. I don't care if someone's gay or color your skin. I don't care one iota. But yet,
but now we're supposed to care.
well, that, and plus we walk around, and I'm not speaking for me. I'll probably speak for anybody. Anyone that we knew, or anyone that is new in our life that we're meeting, or we're somewhere meeting new people, greeting, whatever, I can promise you that 99% of everyone is looking around thinking, okay, what can I say and not say to make sure I don't offend somebody? What kind of society is that? That's why I am the way I am. I don't give a rat's ass. I'll treat people like assholes all day long. You know what I mean? That's just the way it is. You know, as far as I'm concerned, if you have a spurt, and I'm not talking the word hate, if you just, any type of conversation anyone has, and if you think for 1 minute that the tone of the conversation is going to change when you walk in because you think you're a little bit different, not in my company, no way. You're just another dude or a girl like everybody else, and you're going to be treated like everybody else. And that's why I envy people like Chappelle or Bill Burr. And I mean, even look at, what's his face? Bill Maher. Good gravy. I mean, that guy, they're all talking about getting, canceled in this culture thing or whatever, or Ricky Gervais or whatever. I mean, I love those guys just for the fact that
they speak freely.
100%. And you look at life as humor. You know what I mean? At what is going on, you beat it back with laughter. And to me, that's the greatest. You don't beat it back with hatred. You beat it back with humor.
Well, I think,
and that's fantastic.
Well, since we're on the topic of employment, I loved my job because of the humor. I mean, it was fun. I mean, I enjoyed going to work, if you can imagine.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I couldn't wait to get up early in the morning and 5:30, 5 o'clock and get to work because I knew what is today going to bring. This is going to be a great day. And I was very, very lucky. And I can just tell you, I had no problem working. But it had a lot to do with the company too. The company, 100%. The company gave me 100% of my. I mean, they would come to me and ask me what I thought.
Sure.
And when I would tell them what I thought, they listened. And it made their company great. I mean, they basically.
Wait a minute. Whoa. You're trying to say that
it helped make their company great. I'm not saying I made their company great.
No, I'll say it. I made my company great. I am my company.
I understand that. But you also have really good help.
Yeah. And I choose that help.
That's it. So.
It all boils down to me, doesn't it? Just say it, Tom.
She's half owner. Don't forget that.
All right. Here's a question. Would you rather make a lot of money yet work with people you hate?
No.
Or would you rather make far less money and work with people you absolutely love to work with?
Far less.
Anybody I've ever talked to about, and we probably know who I'm talking about, but anyhow, anybody I have ever talked to about a job, you do something you like.
100%.
If you don't do something you like, you're wasting your time.
My cousin England is the wealthiest person I know on a talking, whatever you want to call it, intimate friendship. You know what I mean? My cousin. And I asked him once, I said, what do you do to get to your level? I mean, how did you do that? And he just said this simple advice, Jeff. Do what you love. The money will always be there. You give it 100%, it will always be there. He goes, mate, I've got a couple down the street that make probably 2,000 times less than I do, and they're way happier than I am. It's not everything. He goes, you have to make money, make as much as you can, but love it. And if you love it and give it 100%, he goes, I promise you, it'll always be there.
Everybody I know that's successful in life, as what I look at as successful, has done what they love to do.
Sure.
And and then you automatically give that 100% because you enjoy doing.
It's
what
because
you're
you
doing.
enjoy doing it.
Yeah.
I do. I mean, I give 100%, not because it's like, oh man, I'm working hard. Holy criminies, look at the size of that trench I just dug. You know what I mean? No, I enjoy doing it. So, I mean, I do it. I'll sit and I'll look at it and I'll inspect what I've done and look at it again and whatever, because that's just my thing. You know what I mean? It's just, I like talking hair. I like talking, I like guys when they ask me, how do I regrow my hair? I mean,
Hey.
it's just my wheelhouse. It's something I enjoy doing.
Do you know what lamp black is? Lamp black.
No.
Lamp black is powdered black coloring. It's like, it's worse than charcoal. But you mix it with mortar to get a black mortar, or you mix it with concrete to get black concrete. And it's called lamp black. And we used to get it in by the train car, and we'd have to unload it. Everybody hated that job because it's like cleaning a chimney. I mean, you come out of there just so. I was working with this guy, Bob Catterley. I'll never forget him. We're in there working, and this is kind of off the subject, but just to show you what my job was like, this great big bully, we called him the Toad, came up, and he always smoking cigarettes, never really did much. And he comes up there, and he would take them and put them on a pallet, these bags. We'd get in the train.
Black lamp.
Lamp black.
Lamp black.
He'd take these, like they're 25-pound bags, set them over there. Well, he got kind of behind, and Catterley's in there. And he looks over, and here comes the Toad, smoking a cigarette, saying, well, you guys need to slow down. Catterley took one of those 25 pounds of lamp black and threw it at him and hit him right, just poof, just like throwing flour on somebody, but it's lamp black. I mean, you'd have to go home and take a shower. I mean, it was horrific. But
did he do anything about it?
no.
Well, what's the more of the story then?
Well, in the first place, if you knew who Catterley was, you did not mess with him. It wasn't that he was tough. It's just that he had connections, and Toad knew it. Okay? Toad was a big guy. I mean, if Toad you didn't mess with the Toad. Okay? He was a big dude.
How in the hell did we go from what I was saying, which is important, to lamp black?
But I was that's the camaraderie I'm telling you about, and how interesting people come into your life. And you kind of touched on that a bit, so I thought I would just elaborate.
I'll tell you one thing.
I'll tell you. Actually, it was a flashback, Jeff.
Speaking of two interesting people that come into your life,
Raul?
well, you two guys.
Oh, yeah.
That's another time. We'll talk about Raul.
I was looking around for a picture or something.
I know. I'm like, wait a minute. What are we talking
No,
about?
I'm talking about you two guys.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, I don't. How did we end up kind of? We just hanging out, I guess.
Walked in like two homeless guys. And there was,
No, we just started. I'm trying to think.
I think food.
I think it was food. We
think it
started
was
talking
food.
food, and
yeah, we started talking food, but then, so we started out with culture. It's funny how we started out with culture when it came to work. And we came full circle back to
Food?
the culture in a family, right? Culture food. The culture in the home seems to mold the kind of the work ethic in people. But, I think the best piece of advice I got was from my dad. And it's not for everybody, because I always wanted to have a job that I wanted to do what I loved and make money. The things I loved were I liked going to the bars, I liked playing basketball, and I liked going to parties. Well, those are things that I love to do.
Well, those things burn out.
Those things burn out.
Yeah.
The piece of advice my dad gave me, and it worked for me, was do what you're talented at so that you can afford to do what you love.
100%.
And so
Oh, yeah.
I was never able to really do what I love, but I started doing what I was good at. And once I started doing what I was good at, I started feeling better about myself because I was good at it. And I was discovering that I was really good at some certain things. And all of a sudden I fell in love. One is teaching. I love to teach. And so I started doing what I was good at, public speaking. And before you knew it, I grew to love what I was good at. And I was able to make money with what I was good at. but grew to love. So he told me, he said, do what you're good at, do what you're talented at, so that you can afford to do the things that you love, so that you can afford to go out, so that you can afford to play basketball, so that you can afford to go on road trips and things like that, because I'm not going to make any money doing road trips with my friends.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that by your dad having an influence on you like that, do you think that you've gone through your life trying to please your dad?
Yeah, 100%. There's
Because-
nothing more important to me in my life than to hear my dad say, I'm proud of you.
Exactly.
Period.
And
Period. I don't need anything else from him.
I think that's gone by the wayside kind of a lot in this.
I think
in
I
this
think you're right.
generation.
I think you're right. See,
know?
Yeah.
I mean, here's the
Well,
thing.
there aren't dads in the home now.
Well, here's the thing. Everything is instant gratification. You have to remember today's
That's true.
society. I mean, everything is at the palm of your hands.
That's right.
I mean, as us being kids growing up, I mean, porn, it's on the palm of your hand, no matter how old you are. We used to laugh about it, but we would have to go to the library to look up National Geographic to see some booby.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We actually had to look for it. I mean, you can even say the same thing for academics.
Everything's
We
just-
had to go to the library, had to look for the answer in the chapter. That now you just press a button. How kids fail in this day and age, but they fail more than they did back in the day, is mind bending. It's because everything is convenient.
I think
It's
they've
given
dumbed it
to you.
down. I remember. Do you remember when in school, if you had a calculator, you were a cheater,
Yeah.
and they'd call your parents and say, "Hey, little Tommy,
Yeah.
little Tommy Person's
Little
here."
Tommy
had a-
didn't do that.
No.
No. I was a good boy.
No, I mean, it's just everything is just it's not only has society dumbed it down, it's also academia has dumbed it down. I mean, you look at the pandemic, all right? That is
I don't want to go there.
okay. Well, I'm just
So,
saying.
Ben, you're talking.
Look, they are pushing kids through just to say
It
that
isn't
they
just-
graduated.
See,
You know
now
what I
you're
mean?
talking more than just kids. They're
Okay.
pushing society in general down a rat hole.
Well, you wonder why, I mean, there's so many jobs out. I mean, they're offering more money. I mean, I'm driving down the street 6 months ago, and Domino's is offering $20 an hour
signing bonuses.
No,
to make a pizza. You know what I mean?
I told you what
2
I-
years ago was a $7.50 an hour job.
and I'm trying to tell you what I had to go through to keep the job that I had back then was to work my rear end off. Even though I got laid off a couple of months, I knew it was a good job, and it took me 6 years to get that job to work full time.
Sure.
But I knew it was going to be, I liked the job. I wanted the job.
Sure.
There was a competitiveness that I had to. They'd hire other people, but they would keep me.
Well, think about it. Here, think about this for a second. I was principal. I've been asked to be principal of schools a few times, and I actually really enjoyed it because I wanted to be principal. When I went in there, I was Principal Granny. That's what they called me. That's what I expected. If DHS was to call, guess what? They called me, and I dealt with it, and I enjoyed it. I wanted to know. I'm not going to be a principal, for goodness sakes, but I wanted to know what is going on. I found out that this was probably 8 years ago, the last time I was principal at a school. Almost 78%, it was either almost 77 or 78% of all children automatic free lunch. All right? Automatic free lunch. And then it became everyone gets free lunch. All right?
Well,
And
not
yeah,
only that, but if they don't have school, my wife actually goes down, picks up their breakfasts or their lunch, and delivers it to their homes.
No.
I mean, that's
No, I understand what you're saying.
crazy.
What I'm saying is when I look at children, they all look like slobs to me. It's bizarre. I mean, you drive down Main Street when I'm close to Gresham High School, I'm looking at these girls, I'm looking at the guys, and I'm like, what the hell has happened to you people?
That happens to everybody.
Yeah, but no, not. I mean, I graduated in 92, 93. What I'm saying is that, my hair was long, but I was clean shaven. My clothes, I pressed my clothes. I mean, I look sharp. These are bum rats. I mean,
You sound like
Did you
the
have
old
elevator
man.
shoes?
I sound like an old man, but here's the
You sound
thing.
like the old man. Get off my lawn.
What I'm saying is I actually really look to see what is going on. You know what I mean? And there just seems to be such a lack of ambition. And I think that ambition has been somewhat drawn out for the fact that everything is so convenient. You know what I mean? I mean, think about it. I moved out the day I turned 18 years old. You know what the average age is now for a kid to move out?
30.
26, almost 27 years old. That's the average age for a kid to leave their parents' house. What in the mother of everything unnatural? You know what I mean? Think about that. You have jobs that are more prevalent. There you have jobs now that pay more than what they used to. Yeah, we're dealing with inflation right now. But what I'm saying is this. These kids are lazy because they already have everything.
It isn't just the kid.
Huh?
I have problems with parents that keep their kids around till they're 26.
Same here.
In my case,
I'll tell you what. Let me say one thing. I'm sitting at Starbucks yesterday, and these two kids are flirting with each other. Do you know how they tell they're flirting with each other? Because of the way that they were looking at each other across the aisle in the chair over there, and they're flirting with each other on their phones. What a joke. You know what I mean? What a joke.
Well,
oh my God.
I can tell you that my son, he's about 40 something now.
They don't even fight each other. They don't bring each other in the back alley anymore. Do you know what they do? They fight virtual reality. That's how they fight. I'm going to kick your ass on your computer. No, you're not, ninja. You know what I mean?
Keyboard warriors.
I really don't know what the kids are doing nowadays.
I do.
Too far removed. But I can tell you that a parent that lets their child stay with them till they're 26 is, in my opinion, part of the problem.
100%.
So if a parent doesn't realize how to be a parent, you can't blame the child. You want to make a nest for that child, but you want to start adding thorns in that nest about the time they're 18.
See,
all of a sudden, you start putting a few thorns in there, and then a few more thorns.
I understand what you're saying, but you're talking specific. I'm talking generalization. This is the average age. Here's the thing. My son's 19 years old. There is no way in hell my son would know how to move out, Ryan. I moved out the day I was 18. I paid my car in cash.
I had a house.
6 months in advance, I paid for my rent. Yeah. I had my own checking account. My son wouldn't even know what to do. He'd be homeless. You know what I mean?
At 19, I had my first house.
Yeah.
At 19.
Yeah, because your dad gave it to you.
No, my dad didn't give it to me.
What?
No.
Oh. Well, all right.
He lent me $4,000 for a down payment.
That's what I thought. The house was $5,000 though. Anyways,
more like 13.5 or something.
This is what me and Tom test out like when we were with each other.
But it was cheap, and believe it or not, it was.
No, I get it. Here, look,
but I had to buy it.
Yeah.
I mean, I had to pay back the $4,000 too, which some kids they get a loan like that, and they just think, well, I'll just
free money.
Yeah, free money.
I'm just saying, it is. I worry about this generation because in some ways they're more advanced than I mean, son, how would I do this on my phone? What? It's unbelievable. You know what I mean? Can you make me some top ramen? How do you turn on the heater? I mean, it's crazy. Yeah. It is crazy. And I am right now, I am very hard. I get super pissed when I come home if there's a dish in the sink. My son doesn't understand it. He's like, Dad, I'm sorry. I don't want to hear sorry, son. I want you to just do it. You know what I mean? And here's the thing, because there are kids, and I love my son, and I'm preparing him for a world.
You're also the house mom. You're there all the time.
I'm not there all the time. time.
Okay, what I'm saying is, okay, then you do the dishes, right?
If the dishes need to be done and I'm there, I'm doing them.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not beneath any of that kind of stuff. What I'm trying to explain. You are teaching your children
poor behavior.
No, what I'm trying to do is prepare my son for the world that doesn't love him. And I love my son, you know what I mean? And I don't know what happened, what has been lost. I mean, my son's I'm a father, I'm there, and I'm even worried about it. And I'm like, what the hell's gone wrong? You know what I mean? My wife's a fantastic mother, you know what I mean? But here's the thing. There's no way in hellfire and natural my son could go out today and say, yeah, Dad, I'm going to move out on my own. He wouldn't even know where to begin.
I want you to know that as a parent, my biggest relief, my greatest achievement.
When he moved to Florida?
No. Is the fact that I have no worries about his future. Mm. In other words, once he crossed that threshold at, I think it was an early age, actually. Very early age, probably in his 25. Once I could see he was on the road to success. Mm-hmm. But after they achieved that success, there's no greater feeling in the world.
No, it's fantastic.
It's almost like somebody has unchained you.
I'm not there. I'm worried. I mean,
and I don't blame you. And you will be worried until he's probably 26.
Yeah.
Well, the thing, though, Jeff, that you have going for you, number one, I've met your son. He is extremely bright. He is smart. He has integrity. He has morals.
Huge.
The key to his success is not going to be where he's at now. The key to his success, in my opinion, is what he's already received from you and your wife. That whole culture at home. He sees that the parents are working. They care for him. They love him. He sees that you guys make it. He's going to be fine. It's just going to take time, just like with any kid.
And and I'll tell you, in this day and age, there are so many bad roads to take, and he's not on one of them.
Not a one.
He would. That's the one thing. It's so funny. Sometimes I wonder, who is that? It can't be mine.
He's nowhere near like you, is he?
No, I was the devil.
Because you're a bastard. That's because you're a
was
bastard.
Terrible.
I don't know how to. You're a bastard.
If there was anything freaking bad to find when I was young, I found it. You know what I mean?
I know.
Not only did I find it, I looked for it.
I know.
I mean, good to me was bad.
And he doesn't do that.
No, he's complete. He asked me, Dad, do you think I should, should I date it? Well, I don't know, son. Should you date? Well, I don't have a job right now, so I don't think it's, appropriate because I couldn't take her out anyways. Well, okay, son, good for you. In my mind, I'm going, what?
But doesn't God owe you a bad kid? Like after all that you've done, you would think that the Almighty
you know what?
would smite you with.
I'm gonna have to thank my wife for this one.
Didn't work.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think my wife was, a total, complete 360 away from me. I mean, it has to be because there's no way
She can't be a 360. A 360 would turn her all the way around and face you once again. You meet a 180.
Yeah, 180 about face
or even a 90 or 45.
I don't know. I mean, but here's the thing. I asked my wife. I said, "Did you party?" Well, yeah. I mean, my wife did. My wife, she likes to drink. You know what I mean? Not. She likes her wine now, but what I'm saying here. But here, I mean, he won't even. When you're like your dad has a beer or whatever. Hey, Dad, can I have a sip of that?
Yeah. Hey.
My son will be like, "Hey, son. I mean, I have a beer. Son, you want to sip of that?" No, Dad. I don't believe in that.
My son was 12 when he got in trouble for something to do with pot, and I said, "Well, I said, why are you in trouble?" Well, Mom says, this. Well, he was living with his mom, and I said something like, "Well, your mom smoked pot." Boy, did that make her mad. She'd kept that from him his whole life that she smoked pot.
Really?
Yeah, and it was like.
No, I told my
man.
son.
I mean, how much can you hold from your? It's like, look, you did the same thing when you were his age, or maybe he might have been a little bit older. Might have been 15.
No, I told my son. Yeah, he's like, "Dad, you did drugs." I'm like,
but boy, she called me up and she read me off. You told him I smoked pot, blah blah. I said, well, you did.
Well, you did.
I know. I mean, here's the thing. Maybe I am too. I mean, I tell my son everything. Yeah. Did you sleep with a girl, Dad? A lot of girls, Dad? Yeah, tons. How many? I don't even know. Did you do drugs? Yeah, of course I did. Well, why'd you do drugs, Dad? They were fun. You know what I mean?
Well,
here's the thing. I'm completely open and honest with him. But here's the thing. In a weird way.
Some things you don't really need to say.
No, but
some things better.
But if he's
kept.
going to ask me, I'm never going to lie. I'm never going to lie to my son. And I'm in a weird way. I wouldn't change what I was like for anything because I could see that. You know what I mean? And I would. Well, you know what I mean. I would see that my son. And look, my whole thing is son. I took the long way.
Listen,
you're
very lucky that your son learns from other people's mistakes. Mine did too, and that's why he's where he's at today. Yeah. He looked around. He was very, very. He could see which avenues, where these directions led.
Sure.
So
I think one of the things is that
you ought to be thankful for that.
I think one of the other things is he had a very good education where he was at. The other thing is that I do not allow yelling. I'm not going to say I don't allow. It's just the president. There's no yelling in my house. Son, if you want to talk about it with me and your mom, we sit and we talk about it. We talk about it. You know what I mean? And and there's not a, and the other thing obviously is a revolving door. I mean, you look at these kids, and it's like, no wonder they are what they are. You know what I mean? Their household is there's no structure. And I'm not going to sit here and blame anybody or anything like that. It is what it is. But,
it gets harder every year.
Society seems to set them up to fail.
That's what I'm
gets
saying.
harder every year.
Every year. It seems that society is making it harder.
Can you
and harder
imagine
and
moving
harder.
out and paying $1,800 a month for an apartment?
No.
I got to go, guys.
Yeah.
I've
Is that
got an
time?
appointment.
What?
Yeah.
You have employment? Are you employed?
I am employed.
You are gainfully employed.
I am gainfully employed.
You're what?
Crippled Jeff. I am Did I say plea? I'm gainfully
You
employed.
said you're gainfully employed.
That's the stroke. I'm gainfully employed.
Well, then we'll call this good. We'll do this again. I know we talked a little bit about employment. We talked a lot about a bunch of other stuff, but that's how the grit rolls. We're just going to be who we are. We're going to talk about what's on our mind. Glad you could join us to be a fly on the wall. We'll catch you down the road. Hey, I want to give 2 kudos. Number 1, I want to give a kudo to you for watching the Grit podcast. I hope you've liked and subscribed it. Please leave a comment, leave a rating. Let us know how we're doing. If you're interested in being a guest, let us know about that too. Kudos number 2 is going to go to the sponsor of the show today, American Family Estate Preservation. We will be there when you need us the most. How many of you know that when you pass away, you're going to leave your stuff behind? I have never seen a U-Haul behind a hearse, and I can tell you this. When you are gone, your stuff is going somewhere. It can either go to the government or it can go to your kids and your grandkids. Which do you prefer? How much do you want the government to get, and how much do you want your kids to get? Are you concerned about probate? Maybe you don't know what probate is. It's not a good thing. Well, here's the deal. American Family Estate Preservation, they will be there when you need them the most. If you need free education regarding estate planning, and you need free legal advice regarding your personal situation with your estate, get this. They will answer those questions and give you that legal advice at no cost. Let me say that again. Any information you need regarding your estate or any legal advice that you need regarding your estate, they will provide that to you at no cost. Well, how in the world do we get a hold of these guys? Here's the deal. You go to mylivingtrust.org or afepi.com, A-F-E-P-I. I personally have a living trust with them so that my estate will avoid probate and my kids will get everything I want them to have immediately, no probate, privately, and get this, tax-free. That's what I have set up. I would encourage you to give them a call, and they will educate you so that you can make an educated decision on what your family needs. American Family Estate Preservation will be there when you need us the most. afepi.com. Contact them today. We'll see you guys next time right here on the Grit Podcast.